Stop living for social media. Social media might as well be a plague on humanity because it's kind of revealing a lot of bad things about the average person. And this is why I so often make extrapolations about the average person, because I observe a lot of things on social media and everything that's out there, and I make assumptions based on what I see, because there are a lot of people doing the exact same things. There are a lot of trends playing out, and yeah, overall I would say social media for the most part is probably steering humanity in the wrong direction, because very few people use it to make their lives better. Very few people use it to consume content that inspires them to become a better human being and to make their life the way that they desire. Most people are using social media more as like an entertainment tool. They're basically replacing TV with social media, another way to kind of waste your time and just get lost in this world of little mild dopamine hits as you're scrolling through content. But then a lot of people also use it for a far more negative thing, which is seeking attention and validation, where they make posts purposely to get attention and validation from others, to get that ego boost and those dopamine hits that come from all the engagement that you receive, the likes and the comments and that sort of thing. And it's really unfortunate because you shouldn't need external validation or attention. Everyone should hopefully work on themselves enough that they can get to a place where they're secure in themselves, where they're comfortable in their own skin. Because at that point, you don't need validation or attention from others. You won't care because you're secure in yourself. I truly do believe only insecure people are going to post constantly on social media for attention, because people who've worked on themselves, they don't see a need to do that. They just don't. There's no desire for them. Maybe like occasionally they'll have that desire, but it'll be super rare because for the most part, they probably won't even be thinking about that in the first place. But they won't be thinking of it and they won't need it. They just won't, because they've already validated themselves. They already think highly of themselves. So why do they need strangers on the internet telling them, oh, you look good in that, or yeah, your working out is paying off, or whatever the hell else it may be? They won't need that because they won't care about it because they're already focused on their journey. So yeah, I wanted to make a video discussing this because it's just, well, if you've been following my content the past few days, you know I've made a few content pieces discussing this because I just think it's a big problem nowadays that affects a lot of people. Because, as I said earlier, very few people are actually going to use social media for good. And I would define using it for good as using it as a tool to make your life better. Following content like what I create and what other content creators out there put out there, where they're trying to help other people live better lives. They're trying to teach you about something you can learn, like maybe learning how to play guitar or learning how to cook. There is good content out there on social media, but most people aren't using it to learn new things, to learn how to better themselves in their lives. In fact, I've often thought that my content can actually be triggering to people who are too lazy to make their lives better, because it's basically a call to fix your scheisse, right? Like, it's a call to rise up, figure out what you're doing wrong in life, and then make things better. Not everybody wants to hear that, because not everybody wants to put in that effort to make their lives better. Like self-help, personal development content, it's very niche because very few people want to go down that journey. It's really unfortunate. So most people are using social media as like this brainless way to waste time, and they don't understand just how negative that is on their mental health and their overall life quality, because all these trends and things that you're gobbling up, if you're not posting content of your own, it's going to affect the way that you think. It's going to affect your overall mindset. It will rub off on you. So if you're following people who are not good, how should I put it, role models, then that's going to affect you and your life. Like, I've noticed even the comedians I follow will affect my personality to some extent, because I'll be borrowing bits and pieces of the way they act and the way they deliver jokes, and kind of living in a way where I somewhat emulate what they do from time to time. So everything that we watch, all the content we consume will rub off on us. And that's just like one side of social media, if you're only using it to consume content. But then there's the other side I mentioned earlier, people who post content of their own, maybe, well, probably primarily selfies, stuff like that, or pictures they take of other places, things they find beautiful or interesting. And the problem on that side is most people are producing their own content for attention and validation. They're not doing it for themselves. If you do it for yourself, it's very different. It's where you basically aren't going to care if anybody sees it, right? Like, because at the end of the day, you're putting it out there because you want to put it out there. You believe you have something worth sharing with the world, so you're going to put it out there. You're not going to give two shites whether or not it gets 1 like or 100 likes, whatever. You're not going to care because you're doing it for you. Very few people do that. Most people are posting selfies because they want attention and validation. They're posting pictures of their vacation in Greece or Italy or wherever the hell else because they want to basically show off and be like, yo, look, I went over here on vacation. You can't even afford that. So what are you doing with your life? Huh? Your life must suck. Mine is awesome. Like, bask in my greatness because I went to Italy. That's what they're doing, right? So it's not good. It's feeding into a lot of just unhealthy and negative aspects of human psychology, because we all have that tendency to be rather self-absorbed, right? It's a survival mechanic, basically. It's within our instincts, because at the end of the day, you're going to focus on your own survival before you focus on the survival of others, right? That's how most people are at base nature. Makes sense, right? Because you're living in your own body, your own head, like naturally you're going to want to make sure you continue existing before you even think of others continuing to exist. That usually only tends to happen when people have families of their own, when they have children of their own. Then they're willing to put their children before themselves. Love is another factor here. If you truly love someone, then you'd probably think about putting them before yourself too. But outside of those two unique cases, most people aren't going to be willing to put strangers before themselves. So most people will have that tendency to be self-absorbed, to focus on themselves. And social media just provides a horrible medium for people to go rampant with this negative side of our psychology. So that's why you see so many people throw around the word narcissist today. And I do say throw around because many people use it incorrectly. Like, narcissism is a legit mental illness. It's something you would get diagnosed by a psychiatrist. It's not something like everybody has just because people are self-absorbed posting about themselves all the time. That's not quite the same thing as narcissism, because they may just be doing that because they're self-absorbed. They're not thinking about others, but it doesn't mean that they're literally a narcissist, that they have the wiring in their brain off, because that's the way it is for legit narcissists. So yeah, but it's unfortunate how social media does kind of feed into this tendency, to the point that now you do have people throwing around that word and using it incorrectly, because we're all seeing just how many people can be self-absorbed. So it's unfortunate, and I don't even know exactly where my point is in this whole video. I just wanted to kind of discuss this because I do think it's really unfortunate. It's a problem. Especially, I hope none of you post a lot of selfies or post pictures on the internet because you're trying to get attention from others. Like, you should always ask yourself before you make a post, just as like a good rule of thumb, whether or not you're doing it for yourself or for others. If you're doing it because you want to get that dopamine hit or those ego boosts from getting likes and comments from other people, you should probably stop and say, you know what? I shouldn't do this. Instead, let me just look at myself in the mirror and back myself up. Work on being secure in myself. Work on being comfortable in my own skin. Work on not needing attention or validation from other people. Be able to provide that for yourself. Be able to look at yourself in the mirror and actually like who you are, instead of looking at yourself and thinking, woe is me, why am I in this body? I suck. And yeah, just get to a place where you can truly love and accept yourself, because that will make it so you won't need external validation or attention anymore. So you won't even really think about posting on social media for those reasons anymore. you'll only post maybe because you find something interesting and you want to share it with others to see if they find it interesting too. You're not going to post because you're trying to flex on everyone, showing off your fancy car or your fancy vacation or your attractive girlfriend. Yeah. So there you go. It's a big problem, and we are seeing a lot of consequences in society because of this, and I'm sure it will have further consequences in the future. So just make sure you don't fall into this trap yourself, and try to help the people you care about not fall into it either. If you have a friend or know someone who's constantly posting selfies, have a discussion with them and be like, what are you doing? Be like, do you need all this attention from strangers? And if they say yes and they're honest, be like, why? Can you please just work on yourself instead? No, help them work on themselves, because it's unfortunate. It's a really shallow existence when you're spending all your time just gobbling up all this attention and validation from strangers. It's messed up. Yeah, I wouldn't even honestly date a woman who had her social media filled with just a bunch of selfies. I would look at that and be like, yeah, no, not for me. Because I wouldn't want a woman who's that self-absorbed, nor would I want a woman who's constantly chasing attention from others, because I'd be like, yeah, it's only a matter of time before she gets attention from the right guy and she's gonna knock me to the side and go after him instead. So not doing that, not playing that game. So yeah, anyway, that's pretty much all I wanted to talk about in this video. If I keep going, I'll start rambling at some point. And yeah, just wanted to share my thoughts on how social media steers people in the wrong direction. It's a big issue. So yeah, anyway, I hope you found this video interesting to some extent. I hope you found it insightful, and let me know your thoughts on this. Like, I'm really curious to see what you guys have to say. I want to know your opinion of social media. Do you think it's a good thing for humanity? Do you think it's bad? And then why? Like, let me know what you guys think, because I'm very curious. But anyway, that's all I have for you. So I truly hope you enjoyed this video, and if you like content like this and you aren't already subscribed, be sure to do that. Otherwise, just throw a like on the video, and yeah, leave your comments. Let me know what you think. But I'll see you guys in the next one. Arrivederci.